My aunt died a couple weeks ago. Like a lot of you, I've had to learn how to mourn during a pandemic. Some people have lost loved ones, some people have lost jobs, some people have lost even more than that. A couple months ago, I interviewed Jennifer Fondrevay. We were part of the same Toastmasters Club a couple years ago. She's a very wonderful person. She focuses on mergers and acquisitions and the people side of it, and also helps companies, a lot of the more emotional aspects. We always kept in touch. She lost her mother this past March during the pandemic. She did a wonderful video about how do you mourn during a pandemic. We talked about that, what you'll see over the next hour. During that recording, I was not good with the audio learning, and I did not get her full presentation. So I'm going to play that for you now. This is Jennifer J. Fondrevay, How Do You Mourn During a Pandemic? It is very wonderful, and I hope you watch not only this, but the full interview. If you enjoy what you hear here, please subscribe to the Laugh and Learn podcast. I'm also on YouTube. I'm currently doing a weekdaily political series. It's part being serious, part satire, and 100% just positive. Try to keep the positive vibes going. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. And here is Jennifer J. Fondrevay on how to mourn during a pandemic. And the audio should work this time, so yay. Here we go.
As my mom pulled her 1970 red AMC Gremlin to the side of the road, after hearing the distinct sound of a police car siren, one thought crossed my mind. Can you get arrested at 10 years old? This happened to my sister and me a lot when we went with our mom to work. She'd misjudge how long it took to get from one gig to the next, and inevitably we'd get pulled over by the cops for speeding. So what exactly did my mom do for a living, you ask, other than speed? From the 1960s through the 1990s, my mom modeled. She was known as Olivia. Yes, I have the distinct pleasure of having a fashion model mom. But let me be clear, a Chicago model back in the 1960s treated modeling like a job. She did the work, like catalog shoots and runway shows at department stores like Marshall Field's. She modeled to pay the mortgage. My mom divorced when I was 12, and though she'd been a teacher, she determined she'd make more money as a model to support us. Raising two kids already as a model was a bit of an exception, but more than that, she was an exceptional beauty. I have experienced that wonder and awe when you walk into a room and all conversation stops as people stare. In this case, at my mother. It didn't matter where we were, she just had that power. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school, and my mom came once for career day. Listen, even the nuns knew we weren't all going to become nuns. And the nuns, the priests, my classmates were all transfixed by my mother. Girls in blue-gray uniform skirts and cardboard white shirts all listened raptly as my mom extolled the virtues of inner beauty, good posture, walking with grace, and getting a good education. So why do I share this with you? My mom passed away this past March after a 20-year battle with Parkinson's. And while all attention is diverted on the pandemic, I don't want her contributions to people on this planet to be forgotten. This is the first of 3 lessons she imparted on me that helped propel my career and those of many others. Look your best at every moment. Pay attention to what you wear. Throughout my career, after every interview, my mom would always call and ask, "So, what did you wear?" And I'd describe everything from pantyhose up to earrings. And once she had a complete mental picture, she'd always say, "I bet you made the right first impression." She knew that people do judge a book by its cover, and that making that right first impression would be critical to everything that I did afterwards. But that wasn't the most important lesson. The most important was respect yourself and others will respect you. Really, probably the most valuable advice of all in work, in life, in parenting, as a partner. Respect yourself and others will respect you. In my mom's view, if you didn't respect yourself, why would others? And I saw throughout my life that when I respected myself, others acted in kind. It's when I didn't that I got a like response. But then the third lesson, beyond executive presence, be present. I saw the power of presence when people dropped forks in restaurants as my mom walked by. As her daughter, she expected me to have presence. I got after-school lessons in how to walk in high heels and how to read a room. But more important for her was that you be present as a person, as a friend, as a work colleague. That when someone was counting on you, you would be there. It taught me to be courageous at work, that when someone was counting on me, I would step forward. It's why I do the work that I do now. I used to think that my mom got out of speeding tickets because my sister and I were really good at acting sick on the side of the road. And then I thought it was because of her beauty. But later on, I realized it was because she didn't just rely on her looks. Hearing her explain to each police officer every time that she was speeding to the next gig to put food on the table for her kids was a life lesson I'll never forget. She taught me to appeal to the head and to the heart. How do you mourn someone during a pandemic? I don't know. But I think you proclaim loudly and often the contributions that they made. To the world, she was Olivia. To me, she was my mom. And I cherish the legacy she left. Thank you.
Jennifer is an incredible speaker. I think you're really going to enjoy this podcast. Afterwards, I give a hold on. There we go. With a Sunday service here. After the podcast, I give a brief post-eulogy of my aunt because I don't want her contributions to be lost to history either. She was such a wonderful woman, and I will always love her. And loss ebbs and flows. For me, at first, it didn't seem real, but we'll talk about that. Enjoy Jennifer J. Fondrevay.